here. We're finally to championship week. It's been a crazy year, y'all. I think everybody knows 2020 has been a year like no other. I'm personally glad that we've made it all the way to freaking December without some wild, crazy crap happening. But John, Christian, we have a guest on today, Christian, so that might get a little bit confusing later in the show. But give me just let's talk about 2020 as a whole right now. Since we're at the end of the year, the bowl games are getting picked tomorrow. John, give me the craziest thing that you think has happened thus far in this 2020 college football season.
Why do I always have to go first? Okay.
Oh, you don't have to. Christian, you can go. It doesn't matter.
Well, hang on. There's two Christians on the show. So let me first introduce our guest for our fans, on the show as well. He played at West Alabama. He played at North Point High School and at South Haven High School back in the day. People might know him from the area, Memphis area. But Christian Salisbury is kindly to join us today. So, Christian Salisbury, thank you for taking your time today to join us on this rainy Saturday here in town.
No, thank you guys. I love doing this. I enjoy doing it, and it's just fun just to reconnect with people in the past. So,
well, Christian, let me ask you this, man. Since you're the guest, I'll just put you on the spot first. When you look at the landscape of college football in this 2020 COVID-19 season, give me the craziest thing that you think's happened so far.
Man, it's so much that has happened. Just honestly, I think the craziest thing was just like the whole opting out and messing up. Guys coming out of high school with trying to get scholarships and guys that may want to come back. Guys are opting out to go to the NFL. It's just a big cluster right now. But I mean, football is still football. It's a business. So I mean, you kind of just got to go with it. But I think that's the craziest thing because I don't know how they're gonna kind of figure that out for high school kids that are maybe good and good enough to go to this school but can't go because of certain offers and money and all that stuff. But I think that's just the biggest thing to me.
Yeah, that's very true.
Next now.
Christian Johnston, what would you say your craziest thing in 2020 has been?
Well, me being in radio, you see firsthand, it affects you as well when you cover some of these high school games, but it's affecting, all divisions, college, NFL, but, financially it really affects us because people don't, they don't know what to expect with this COVID stuff. So the craziest thing I would say would just be, sports in general has changed. I think maybe I don't want to say forever, but it's just something for some reason, COVID to me has really impacted sports. I don't know if it can ever fully recover. And that, to me, that's like that shakes my world because I love sports. But, obviously COVID has really affected people's livelihood too. And, it's just been a really crazy year. And I don't know, I don't know how it can get much worse, honestly. I'm thankful that, I'm still alive and everything else. But, man, there's some people that can't say that and they've lost family. And it's just been a crazy year. I guess sports is, it shouldn't be, sports should be put on the back burner when it comes to things like that. But, man, I can't narrow it down to one thing because, I mean, it's just been one of those years where you keep kind of roll with the punches.
Yeah, I completely agree. Also, Lisa Johnston, good morning. Thank you for watching the show as well, Lisa. Just to piggyback off what both of y'all have said thus far, I think 2020 has been a year that's kind of put things into perspective for all of us. Maybe some things that we took that were luxuries of life have now been, I don't want to say taken away, but they've been restricted. And I think it's opened our eyes as to the things that are more important, that being family, your job, obviously, just things like that are more, like I said, more important. But on the college football level of it, I think the biggest thing for me, the craziest thing to me, it's been all of these opt-outs.
Right.
Um, I think in some instances, like a Kenneth Gainwell from Memphis, for an example, I understand him. He had family members that lost their lives due to difficulties with COVID-19. You know, whatever it was, they're no longer here. So I understand where he's coming from as far as family is concerned. But on the flip side of that, I think there is also guys that just realize, hey, I'm not going to get a chance to play where I want to play. And the selfishness of them said, hey, I'll just put COVID-19 on it because I know I'm not going to lose any years of eligibility of anything. And I'll just say, oh, I got to opt out. I don't like that aspect of it. I think if you're the NCAA College Football Playoff Committee, you've got to expand this college football playoff because let's think about it, y'all. There's a Power 5, right? There's 5 power conferences. So why is there only 4 slots in the playoff?
Yeah.
It's automatically set up to fail from the very beginning.
And this would have been a perfect year to, test that out a little.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think it's, yes, twofold. Number one, yes, this will be the perfect year to test it out. Number two, this is also the year that everybody now realizes it's not going to work. If we're not going to expand, then go back to the BCS where you had a computer pick everything and it's, strength of schedule, all that. Or expand it to 8, expand it to 16, and let's work this thing out and make it right. There's ways it can be done. I just don't know that they'll put the effort and time into it. But I'm sorry, John. Go ahead. What was your
No, you nailed it right on the money because I was about to say the same exact thing you were because what it kind of surprises me, like some of these players are optioning out or transferring maybe their like last game of the season, for example. I know there's like some Georgia players on my second team in general, basically because they're optioning out and they're transferring on the last game of the season. And they're like, okay, maybe we're just not happy here, like you said, because of playing time or something similar to that. But I'm looking at it like this. If I'm really a player, I would have basically made a statement earlier in the season, like some of our players at Memphis, for example, and said, hey, I would rather, just wait it out and see what happens. Maybe I do want to transfer. Maybe I don't want to transfer. I'm not going to say I want to transfer right away, but I just don't like the idea you're waiting this late in the season and basically say what you want to do because you're letting your whole team down maybe for like a big bowl game, like the playoff game, or maybe a national championship for an Alabama Clemson rematch. You don't see like Trevor Lawrence saying, oh, okay, I'm going to forego to my 2021 NFL draft to get ready for the New York Jets or whoever going into the ACC championship. You don't see leaders like that, But another thing I'm kind of surprised about is by so many universities taking out loans, for example, from banks. The basically, I know you have to, but I'm just talking about like the biggest money. Like, for example, I saw a report from Mark Giannotto yesterday that the University of Memphis basketball might have been taking like $10 million out, for example, out of a loan, which is crazy.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And then, these basically attendance also, like I know some states are totally different, but to me, it should be just fair across the board. Like Texas A&M, when they played Florida, the first game of the season or like middle of the year, Texas A&M had filled like 100,000 plus filling that stadium.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're all cramped up in that stadium.
On the loan thing, I think the number was that the University of Memphis had taken out $12 million or something like that. But also the University of Arkansas, I believe, took out a $18 or $19 million loan. So even the bigger name schools of the country are doing the same thing. So it's it's across the board an issue. Now, what I don't like, and I'll just be brutally honest about this and blunt, is a team like an LSU that, okay, you've had a down year. You're not as good as you were last year. We understand that. But you're 3 and whatever, and then all of a sudden you're going to place yourself a 1-year bowl ban. Are we serious? I mean, is this, or did we really just do that? I mean, come on, just who cares?
I mean, it's smart by them, but it's also like, I mean,
what happened?
Yeah, I mean,
Let me ask you this: when the University of Memphis and John Calipari was getting ready to have the hammer thrown at them by the NCAA, what's the first thing a school typically will do? They'll self-impose bans, correct?
yeah.
The LSU is getting ready to get, for lack of a better term,
They got ahead of it.
in the face. Oh no, they're way behind because LSU's about to get hit hard. I'm telling you, they're about to throw the hammer at them. Not just football, but basketball as well.
Yeah, it's just with Will Wade at basketball still. I'm surprised
Exactly.
he's still at the coach.
I am shocked that Will Wade is still the coach at LSU. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree with all three of y'all. It's been an insane year. But we have now made it to championship week. I honestly didn't believe we would make it here. There's also some other games going on as well today. Some makeup games and stuff like that. John, when we get to also there was some big news on the plains of Auburn. Hugh Freeze is no longer there. That was announced last week. John, you got any insider information on?
You mean Malzahn?
I mean, sorry, yeah, my bad. I said Hugh Freeze. Sorry, I meant Gus Malzahn.
You're getting ahead of the game.
I was getting ahead of myself there. John, do you got any insider information on the Gus Malzahn replacement?
Except for I've heard Steve Sarkisian is basically might be interviewing after the game today down in Atlanta, possibly for the Auburn job.
We know Bielema.
Right. Bielema got the Illinois job, but,
Right.
I'm hearing also that maybe, as we talked about yesterday, Mario Cristobal decided to stay at Oregon.
And we see that was a big momentum boost for Oregon last night.
Oh, absolutely,
that big win over USC.
I just think right now the only person I've really heard is Steve Sarkisian, unless you've heard some other ones I'm not aware of. I still think, to be honest with you, it's probably Hugh Freeze and Steve Sarkisian are maybe the top two in that Auburn list right now.
Yeah, as I think we've talked about once before, Gus Malzahn's about to get paid, y'all. Quickly, by the way. $21.5 million buyout. And they got to pay his butt half of it in the first 30 days.
Absolutely, yeah.
I wouldn't even be mad.
Why would you? And then here's the kicker.
That's probably why he was doing that Club Dub thing.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to. Here's the thing: Malzahn doesn't even have to go find or attempt to find another job, and he still gets the rest of the money.
Contract. Isn't Richard Sexton his agent?
Whoever his agent is a genius because
I think there should seriously be something done about that. Coaches getting fired and getting paid all that money. I mean,
here's the thing:
that just seems like a huge waste of money to me.
Yeah, it could be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Do what now, Christian?
It's just a huge waste of money. I mean, especially in a COVID year. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, 21 mil.
Look at Kevin Sumlin. He's still getting paid from Texas A&M, and now he's getting paid from Arizona $12 million. So he's still getting paid from both schools.
Yeah, and I think that comes out to like 21.5 million between two schools.
I don't get why they have to have that much like security for them to take a job. I don't get it.
I mean,
I get job security is important, but $21 million.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It is a lot of money, man. Sam Pittman came out when they hired him, and somebody said something about a buyout, and he said buyouts are for coaches who want to leave.
Yep.
I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand where he's coming from. But I think at the end of the day, this is just my opinion. I could be 1,000% wrong. If I am, cool. If I'm not, hey, I call it. I think it's going to be Hugh Freeze. I just think Hugh. I think that's Hugh's. I don't think if you're Auburn, I don't think you can make a financial decision of paying $21.5 million to somebody if you don't know or have a damn good idea who your backup's going to be.
Right.
Yeah. If they didn't do that, then I hope whoever goes there does an amazing job because he's screwed because they're a stupid organization. But I think it's going to be Hugh. I think if you look at Hugh Freeze, he's climbed Mount Saban twice at Ole Miss. He did it in impressive fashion. We know he can recruit. Can he do it non-dirty? We don't know. Evidently so. He's doing it at freaking Liberty.
Yeah, and they're winning.
Exactly. They're winning, and they're winning impressively. I like Hugh Freeze as a football coach. I think he's a very good football coach. And I think he can win at Auburn. I think that's what Auburn wants, and that's what Auburn needs. But on the flip side of that, Steve Sarkisian would be just as big of a splash hire to me as Hugh Freeze. Yes.
I mean, the only way I can see Hugh not really taking the Auburn job because his friendship with Gus. That's the only really setback that I can see Hugh not taking that.
Well, Gus is gone.
John.
But I'm talking about their friendship here.
Do you know how long it takes?
I see what you're saying. Like,
do you know how long it takes to take? Do you know how long?
He's got $21 million though, so he's good.
That's my point right there.
It's their friendship. That's the most.
I understand what you're saying, but
yeah,
I get the friendship, but $21.5 million, they can still be best friends.
Yeah.
Well, what do y'all think about this coaching hire, Butch Jones in Jonesboro, Arkansas?
That's a shocking one. That may be the most shocking one of all, actually.
I love it.
I love it too because he's also bringing in Ryan Applin, the former quarterback, as a running back coach as well. The one that gave us fits back in the day at Memphis.
That guy
may be where Butch
man.
Jones gets back on the map or something.
Christian,
he won't be there long.
All right, Christian, how do you feel about the Butch Jones hire?
I honestly don't even know. Butch Jones is a guy that I feel like has to get his rep back up. You know, he hasn't had too many good years, and I felt bad for him at one point because people were talking about him and stuff like that. But I mean, I feel like Butch Jones is a good coach. He means good. It's just, it's just like building a new team. I mean, he's just gotta find the guys that he can trust and that he knows that'll go out and perform every weekend. I believe he's a good coach. I'll play for coaches all the time that'll run through a wall for me. And so, it's just one of those deals. He just kind of got to find his right happy medium with the team. So
won't have quite the same fan, pressure that he did at Tennessee than he will at Arkansas State.
That's no. Like every weekend you look up, you see something about Butch Jones and what he did, and I'm just like, dude, he's got so much pressure on his head right now.
Yeah,
he does. I mean, the brick by brick mantra. I get it. I understand it because you have to build a foundation brick by brick. I understand it, but on the flip side of that, if you're gonna holler brick by brick, you gotta build it brick by brick, and he won't do that.
Gotta start laying at least one brick a day.
Well, he would have like he'd have a pretty good season, then he'd go back. It's like he would go backwards. I mean,
he was backtracking more than he was moving forward.
Yep.
Well, guys,
all right, one more.
To get into
I got a question
picks.
regarding.
Oh, go ahead.
I got another question real quick. What do y'all think about the Vanderbilt hire, the Notre Dame defensive coordinator?
I don't know much about him personally, but I think
I know he's in Nashville. Like he's from the Nashville area.
he played
And I
it.
know he played at Vanderbilt and he's young. That's the only thing I really know about him.
I think if you're Vanderbilt, knowing that their fan base is not behind them ever, that's a smart hire. You go get a local guy who played there, who's young, who can reconnect with those with the local high schools and stuff like that. I think it's a good hire. Plus, you get a defensive minded coach. I think if you're Vanderbilt, you go off the grid, man. You bring a guy in there that runs triple option or something different, something that
change it up.
Prepare for to make you different, to make you a real challenge in the SEC or whoever you play. My opinion again.
Good point.
Let's get into picks.
All right. Up first, we've got the Texas A&M Longhorns, number 5 in the country.
Longhorns.
I'm sorry, my bad. Texas A&M Aggies traveling up. That's gonna piss off a lot of Texas fans. The A&M Aggies traveling up to the Hill in Knoxville to take on those guys up there that wear orange. They're up 7-0 right now on Texas A&M. The Aggies, they're up with 7-0 right now. But give me A&M to win the game handedly. I don't like Tennessee's quarterback. I think he's terrible.
He's not even starting today, is he?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's starting, John. They don't have a quarterback on the roster that can beat Texas A&M. In my opinion, not trying to make anybody mad, but it's a fact. Go ahead, guess Christian. Who you got, man?
I most definitely got Texas A&M. They got a lot of weapons on that team. If you watch them play, you can't overlook the fact that they have a lot of weapons. And I know guys on Tennessee. I played against Trey Smith. I know Eric Gray and all those guys. They're some great football players, but you just kind of got to look at the spreadsheet of who's lining up against who. And
13.
It's a matter of who wins their one-on-one battles, and I feel like Texas A&M has enough just to kind of coast away with it at the end. So
they're probably the top school in Texas right now.
Yeah, where they're
Tom Herman did save his job.
Yeah.
John, who you got?
I tried to tell you yesterday this might be one of the craziest games at 11 a.m. you got to watch out for. But learning today that Tennessee doesn't have 2 of their assistant coaches coaching this game. One, because maybe he might be getting let go. One might be getting COVID tested. Who knows what's really going on in Knoxville. But and then Jeremy Pruitt on top of that is coaching the defense today. So he's got defensive line to worry about, the coach, defensive coordinating position, and being a head coach all in one game. That's a hard thing to do.
It is.
Like Christian said, a lot of good players on the Tennessee roster. I'm still thinking their offensive line by far is the most overrated thing this year in college football.
Yeah.
But looking at the pregame stuff, I'm looking at Texas A&M definitely to cover the 13 now. Looking at it now. But I was like, I was going to say Tennessee could give them a game for a half.
If you said Tennessee, I was going to take you off this Zoom, bro.
No, Tennessee was going to probably play them pretty well in the first half, just because it's an early kickoff, in my opinion.
Nice save. All right, Christian Johnston, who you got, man?
Yeah, I know Tennessee's leading right now. I expected them to maybe come out strong and maybe fight for a quarter or maybe even a half, but A&M is one of those teams that just wear you down after a while.
Mm-hmm.
You may can stay with them for a half, but they pull away eventually because they just got too many athletes out there. And I think they'll win handedly. I think they'll cover 13. This is a game where Jeremy Pruitt, if he was able to pull it out, might, I think he's going to be there next year anyway. But
You're looking back at it,
this would do him. This wouldn't hurt him definitely if he won this game.
Oh no, heck no. Because my opinion is I think A&M should be ranked number 4. I don't think Ohio State should be in the top 4. Speaking of Ohio State, going on Fox, John, you got Fox, right? You can watch Fox.
I'm not watching it right now, but yeah.
Okay. John has Fox. He can watch this game. John doesn't have ABC. So John's not happy. Northwestern taking on Ohio State. Those Buckeyes taking on the Wildcats. Ohio State's a 16.5-point favorite in this game. I don't want to do this. Give me Northwestern to get the win today, boys.
Wow.
Well,
I'm going to screw it up for everybody.
Wes, you might have a good point because Ohio State's missing 22 players this game.
Jeez.
And I don't know what's going on. It might be COVID tracing. Who knows? But, Northwestern defense has basically came to life the last few games. They really have. They stopped the run.
They've been good all year.
Yeah, but do they have the offense?
That defense, it's the offense for Northwestern. And I'm sorry, John, I'm not trying to cut you off.
No, you're fine. It's just like you said. I think the quarterback play is going to come down to it today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ohio State will win the game, but I think Northwestern will cover.
Okay. Yeah, when you look at Northwestern, their defense at the beginning of the year, I think the first 3 or 4 games, I don't think they gave up a single point in the second half. Now Michigan State changed that, but this is obviously their toughest test, and I think Pat Fitzgerald will have this team ready to play today. Christian Guest, who you got, man?
And I'm gonna have to go with you because I think Northwestern is a solid team year in and year out. They're a team that's not always, talked about, but I've always been kind of a low-key fan of them just because of, their tradition, the way they play football, honestly. Like, I just love the way that they play football. And those guys are a hard team to beat. They're not, especially at home. I learned that a long time ago. At home, that is a hard team to beat. And they're just not it's just not Alabama and Ole Miss game. Whoever they play, they're going to play their best, and they're going to give you their best. So, especially Ohio State being out 22 players, that's like my senior class in high school. That's a lot. You can't really just bank on Justin Fields trying to put it on his back. And, yeah, it's 4-quarter game. You got to play the whole game, and I think Northwestern's going to pull it out.
Oh, yeah.
Upset. Wow.
Now that I just found out about the 22 player thing, that they're going to need some of those players back, Nick, for the playoff if they want to compete. But yeah, I just think Ohio State, despite that, still has probably better talent than Northwestern, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Missing 22 players, you would think that would, put them way behind, but I think Ohio State gets the win today. They're just used to being in the bigger game. Northwestern's really not. I like what they're doing at Northwestern. It's amazing that they're in the Big Ten championship, in my opinion, but I just think Ohio State will win, and they've got too much to play for, and they know that, and they need to win this game, and I believe they will, and I think they'll get in the playoff. I think they'll cover.
Yeah, I had a absolutely viral rant on the show last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
I went off. I'm ticked off. It's stupid.
They showed it on Sports Center and everything.
Did they? Great. Man, Scott Van Pelt.
The only downside is you're not top 10.
That's fine. Hey, not top 10, top 10. I don't care. It's still Sports Center. It don't matter to me. But I don't agree with Ohio State being in. I don't. It's wrong. It's not right. Don't get me started again, please. That was 45 minutes last night. Up next, we've got, shocker, another team I don't agree with. The Big 12 championship game. Oklahoma, a 5.5-point favorite, taking on Iowa State. Iowa State is ranked. Well, they can be there, but they're 6th. Oklahoma is 10th. Oklahoma is currently up 7-0. But with that being said, it didn't matter if they're up 7-0 or not. Oklahoma's the better football team, I believe. I think they're playing better football right now. Lincoln Riley has got those boys playing. Give me Oklahoma to win. Cover. I think they'll win by 14 to 17 points today. Christian Guest, go ahead.
I agree. I mean, Oklahoma, like you said, Lincoln Riley's a genius when it comes to football. You know, I've watched when Baker was there. I watched when Kyler was there. I watched just about every quarterback, he's coached. And, I mean, no matter what the situation, that guy can scheme up a lot of stuff. And, I just think, Oklahoma just has a lot of firepower with the spread. And, Spencer Rattler's a guy that can definitely throw the football and he can definitely run the football. So it's just one of those deals that I believe Oklahoma is a better team in this situation.
All right, other Christian, what you got, man?
Yeah, I think Oklahoma's a really good football team, and it's just they're one of those teams that they cannot put a full season together to save their life. I mean, I could actually, right now, I'll be willing to make a case that they could, if they hadn't had those 2 losses, they could be a top 5 football team the way they're playing right now. But, given the 2 losses this year, one of them being to Iowa State earlier in the year, I think they're going to win today and they're just going to roll. I hate to say it, but when there's not a lot of pressure, that's when Oklahoma plays their best. I think, there is pressure today. I mean, it's the Big 12 championship, but no college football playoff on the line. They'll win handedly. Iowa State not used to being in the big game like this. I think that's going to play a factor. Just like in the Ohio State Northwestern game. Give me Oklahoma to cover.
The real question is who's going to take the NFL job first? Lincoln Riley or Matt Campbell?
Neither. I'll answer that question for you. Neither.
Yeah.
I think one of them is going to the NFL this year. I really do.
Do you really?
But I really got this gut feeling. I think Matt Campbell, basically, he's a young coach, and I really think a lot of NFL teams need a younger coach to basically turn these teams around these days, especially the New York Jets. And I'd love to see Matt Campbell see what he does, in New York.
Are you a Jets fan,
I know,
John?
No, I'm not.
You keep talking about the Jets a lot.
No, I'm not no Jets. But I just think I got this gut feeling. I think, one of these coaches today will take an NFL job next year. But y'all took the words out of my mouth for Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma, although Iowa State's defense is pretty good at times.
Yes.
But they lost to they did lose to Louisiana Lafayette this year. They lost to Kansas State, like we talked about yesterday, Wes.
Very bad Kansas State team, John. By 17.
Yeah.
But bottom line is Spencer Rattler is the better quarterback on the field today, and Oklahoma's going to convert more third downs on the field, and Oklahoma's going to win.
And don't get me wrong. I take nothing from Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell has done an absolutely amazing job at Iowa State. Because, let's be honest. He's not pulling in 5-star after 5-star after 5-star after 5-star. He's bringing in 3.5, and 4-star guys and turning them in to major talent, or you know what I mean, or getting the most out of them. Let me put it
that Lafayette loss really hurt him.
That running back they got, man. That what's his name, Breece Hall. That guy's a stud, man. He's the best. He's, in my opinion, the bar none the best running back in college football. And I know Alabama's got a hell of a running back. Don't get me wrong. But that Breece Hall, that guy's a beast, man.
Hard-nosed runner.
A stud. Do what now?
I said he's a hard-nosed runner.
Yeah, he really is. He really, really is. And like I said, nothing against Matt Campbell. As far as the coaching change, John, I don't know, man. I honestly think Lincoln Riley knows he's got something major at Oklahoma. I mean, let's really, really, when you sit back and think about it, John, he wins the Big 12, he's in the playoff every year. And he's got
Don't
talent.
be
Except
surprised
this
if
year.
Stoops comes back.
Stoops ain't coming back. What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do, John? Bob
Don't be
Stoops was coaching the XFL Dallas Renegade team.
Yeah, Stoops' careers, I think he's
Stoops is
Yeah.
done. I think Lincoln is a guy that is going to be there for a while. I honestly don't think he's going to go anywhere. Matt Campbell, I think will go. I don't think he'll go pro. I think he'll go to a Michigan or a
Auburn.
Notre Dame or something like that. I don't think. I think Campbell could win at Auburn. Honestly, I do. But I think that job's Hugh Freeze's, like we talked about earlier.
I think it is too.
John,
Yo,
can Ole Miss win at LSU today at 2:30 on the SEC network? They're a 1.5 point favorite on the road. Can they do it?
absolutely. Bring the Lane train down to Baton Rouge. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
Really?
I really think this game will come down to stops on defense for both teams. I see a shootout. I see like a 45-42 type ball game in a way. But I think Ole Miss has definitely got the better players. I think LSU is just going to be coming out a little bit flat, although they did win last week against Florida. But I get Ole Miss. I like Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels.
I mean, they won by their shoestrings last week against Florida.
Hey, a win's a
One by
win.
shoe.
I think.
But I think Ole Miss is going to put a lot of pressure on LSU's freshman quarterback. That makes a lot of sense.
Let me also bring this little tidbit of just a little devil's advocate here. What happens? Lane Kiffin wins this game today. Okay. What happens if Lane Kiffin's at Auburn next year?
I mean, I saw that, man.
I
That
wouldn't be
to me,
that well, twofold. Number one, if I'm Ole Miss, I'm pissed.
oh yeah,
I'm saying I'm livid because you just
he's already
lost
done that
a guy
once after a year.
that has immediately turned that program around in one season. Not even a full season at that. No spring, no nothing. And he spun that program around with essentially the same roster that Matt Luke had last season. But that's a story that nobody's really talking about. And I feel like, I know I said Hugh Freeze, but I think Lane is kind of that last horse, that's getting that last big run at the end.
I don't think Auburn wants him.
Who?
Never know, man.
Lane Kiffin. Well, he hasn't really done enough for me, or for me personally, at Ole Miss yet to jump that, because I think Ole Miss to Auburn is a dramatic jump.
Look how he turned Florida Atlantic around, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
He did.
here's Lane Kiffin. He can't jump ship after a year again, like he did at Rocky Top. They wanted
Money-
to kill him there. They
Money
wanted him
talks.
dead.
Dude, he was. I mean, there's some mullets up there in Knoxville that would have killed his ass.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about that. What I heard.
But
I can keep it PG.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. On Twitter last week, a Auburn fan tagged Hugh Freeze and said, "Hey, at Hugh Freeze, we don't want you at Auburn." And Hugh Freeze responded back and said, "Good."
Wow.
It was later deleted, but I mean that's kind of shots fired from Hugh Freeze
Hugh Freeze should not have done that, but
to Auburn. No, he shouldn't have, but he did, and it got caught. Obviously, everything does now. Once
now
you
why would Auburn want him now?
exactly, that's why. I mean, I know I said Hugh Freeze earlier, but man, that Lane Kiffin I feel like he's a dark horse for that job.
I don't think it'll be either. Actually, I think it'll be somebody we're not thinking.
Who do
I
y'all
feel,
got
like,
to win?
I feel like at 2, to be honest. It's gonna be somebody we did not even expect.
Yeah.
Ryan Silverfield, maybe, John?
No.
Just want to check.
Hey, Dan
Sam
Lanning.
Pittman.
Hello.
No,
Hey, don't be surprised. I won't be surprised if Dan Lanning actually gets an interview.
if Sam Pittman left, I'd cry, man.
You would, I know.
I really would.
Arkansas fans would.
Bree would
Christian,
cry.
guest Christian, Ole Miss or LSU?
Oh man, y'all just put me in a bad spot because I'm an LSU fan. I've been an LSU fan for a while.
All right, how long? I mean, did you just start when Burrow got there? Be honest.
Oh, damn shoot! I've been watching when Odell was wearing 33 and
Yeah.
Jarvis was still wearing 80 and all those guys.
Honey Badger.
Yep, I saw all those games.
Yeah, your boy Odell's probably gonna get y'all put on probation. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not. That was I don't know why he did that, but with I just hate LSU being down this year. They got freshman quarterbacks and they got all this stuff going on. And
I think Brad Johnson may be the answer. He looked good last week.
Yeah,
I don't know about the answer.
He just needs more reps. He needs more live game reps. That's exactly what it is. He's got an arm. He can throw the football. That's without a doubt. I mean, I saw him last week stand in the pocket and he was taking a couple of shots to the mouth while he was delivering balls across the middle. But I think Stingley being out last week and stuff like that. You got a guy named Elijah Moore at Ole Miss. He's one of the top receivers in the country. I mean, you got to figure out ways to keep him from getting open. I trained with another guy on Ole Miss's roster, Mingo. He wears number 1 like AJ. I trained with him at D1. He's a real big guy. I mean, they got a lot of bodies at Ole Miss that people don't really respect. And and I feel like LSU, even though being my team, I'm going to pick LSU, but I feel like at the end of the day, deep down in reality, Ole Miss might win just because, you got to think about it. They're down. LSU's probably mentally is like, man, we really got to win this game. They're putting pressure on themselves. You don't want to lose to a school like Ole Miss because, you think Ole Miss has always been having down years. They're always having losses here and there. But I think outside of my being biased of being a fan, I'll go with Ole Miss just because, it's just Lane Kiffin's done a great job this year. I mean, he can scheme up some stuff and it'll make your head hurt.
Yeah, most definitely.
I had you down for LSU.
Lane Kiffin's a freaking offensive genius, man.
He's a wizard.
And I think Christian, when you were talking about why Ole Miss to Auburn, I think that's the answer. I think not only is he a more astute mind, and I'm not taking anything from Gus Malzahn. We all know Gus Malzahn is a extremely talented offensive play caller, genius, whatever. I think Lane Kiffin is ahead of his time in
without a doubt.
Not only what he calls, but he can tell you why he's calling it, for what reason. I mean, he's just, I think him and Kendall Browse remind me a lot of each other in their play calling, their thought process, all that. I mean, it's.
Can you imagine the Iron Bowl matchup, him going against Saban?
I would love it.
I would love it. Exactly. I would love it.
But
Absolutely love it.
I don't think for his sake he should leave Ole Miss after just 1 year. I mean, I guess the money depends on what they offer him, but
I mean, if you're Auburn and you just back the Brinks truck up for
true
on to leave town, they're gonna bring 3 for whoever they hire. And if you're Lane Kiffin, yes, you put a bad taste in the SEC's mouth, in the Ole Miss fans' mouth. But if you got 3 Brinks trucks waiting on you at the tarmac when you get off the plane, and you got a $30 million buyout, who gives a crap if they're mad at you? You know what I'm saying?
Auburn's definitely the better job.
It is much, but at the same time, going into that job, when you sign your name on that contract,
You're gonna be
their number one question is, can you beat Alabama? and you have to answer that yes. Because if you tell them no, then you're not going to come there.
Yep.
If you just think about it, I mean, watch some of the plays Ole Miss run and compare it to Auburn's offense and how they run it. I mean, you got a guy in Auburn's offense, Bigsby. I think Lane Kiffin would love giving him the ball with
Tank
his
Bigsby is
offensive
a
mindset.
beast.
Like, you got to think about people like that. And then if he had what's the receiver they got? I can't think of his name. The tall one Auburn has. I can't think of his name.
Auburn?
He's real tall. Just imagine Lane actually getting a player like that on his team and being able to throw a deep ball, and you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that.
Well, I'm not a LSU fan, but something tells me, they come off a big win against Florida. I don't think they can really afford to lose to Ole Miss after a win like that.
I don't. It's hard because I mean I love LSU and I got people that play on Ole Miss, so it's a tough pick for me, because I mean I'm full bred. I'm just full bred LSU. Like I love LSU to death, but I had to pick somebody. It's just
I think, yeah. This is a hard
I had to
game.
pick somebody. I mean, I can't just say no. I'm not picking this game.
This is picking
This
Ole
is a
Miss.
hard
We
game
know
to
it.
pick because they're pretty similar styles. I mean,
yes, without a doubt.
All right, so can you give us your rendition of Go Tigers that Ed Orgeron does?
me?
No,
not
I
you.
ain't got it. I ain't got his voice, but I love the.
Come on now. You're a
I want to
big
hear John do it.
LSU fan. I'm not
Hey,
not to
he's
put you
got-
on the
he's
spot
got
or
a
anything.
He's got a one of a kind voice. I don't think anybody can do that one.
Boy, you slithered right out of that question. Great job.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Let's see.
So let me pick the game real quick.
Yeah,
I
go
think,
ahead.
I think LSU wins. I don't really want them to win, but I think they will. But
They will. Me being an LSU fan, I think they will. But
Up next, we've got what I think is going to be the game of the day. John, you can't watch it. It's on ABC at 3:00 today. I'm sorry.
Don't remind. Hey, Christian, you got Comcast at the house?
what?
I'm
But,
talking about Salisbury. You got Comcast, or what do you got?
oh,
Hey,
my
look.
Lord.
matter of
The
fact,
ESPN app.
I can find it live on YouTube. To be honest, they've been putting a lot of games live on YouTube.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
This man is trying to swindle another cable provider on live freaking broadcast. All right. So we've got Clemson, number 3, coming in. 1 loss to Notre Dame at Notre Dame, double overtime. Great game a few weeks back. But it's a little different today. Trevor Lawrence will be behind center for Clemson, where he was not that first game.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, John.
I'm picking Clemson in a rout,
A route.
especially after what Brian Kelly said yesterday. What pissed me off?
What he said, John.
If there's no fans allowed in the playoff game, we might not play in the playoff game.
I call BS on that. I don't know why.
He's just fishing for people to.
Oh, I know, but I'm just that
right.
just pissed me off with that comment. But Clemson by
Go
20.
ahead. Clemson by 20. Wow. He was actually on game day this morning. He bless you. He was on game day this morning. You didn't sneeze. And he kind of backtracked a little bit on that. He said, "Look," he said, I think my comment was taken a little bit out of context when I said fans." He said, "What my point is," he said, "I want the parents to be there."
Mm-hmm.
He said, if they're not going to allow these young men's parents to be at the games, that's the issue I have. Completely agree with him, 110%.
I agree too.
And I 100% back him on that decision. If they're not going to allow parents,
But threatening not to play, I don't think he would have ever done that.
I'll even say this. Trevor Lawrence, 350 passing.
Wow.
okay. Give me Notre Dame today again to beat Clemson. I think it should put Clemson out of the top 4. A lot of people will argue with me on that. That's fine. I like to argue. You can argue with me. That's fine. I think Notre Dame is just something special, man. But here's the thing. I think if you look at Clemson, that offensive line has not been very, very strong this year. They lost 3 out of 5 starters coming into this season. Travis Etienne, the great running back that he has been, has not ran for over 100 yards in the last 4 games. So, that being said, give me Notre Dame. Rudy. Notre Dame is going to win the game today. I think Ian Book could possibly solidify himself for a outsider for the Heisman. I think he's played that well this year for Notre Dame. Hopefully they can get the running game going like they've had. Give me Notre Dame to get the win today and move on to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence being there obviously is going to help Clemson a lot. But for some reason, I'm with you. I think Notre Dame's going to show up today. And Clemson, I don't believe they're nearly as good as years past. Here I say that, but here they are still the top 5. But I think it's going to be a close game. Part of me wants to pick Clemson, but like I said, I think Notre Dame is legit this year. Mm-hmm. I think they're one of those teams, that can hang with Alabama maybe. But give me Clemson or give me Notre Dame to win today as well.
Go ahead, Christian.
Salisbury, who you got, man?
He's thinking hard on that one.
Yeah. It's a hard pick for me because, I mean, like you said, I've watched Ian Book all year. And the game that they beat Clemson, DJ, I watched him all throughout high school at St. John Bosco and all that school. I feel like he could have won that. He could have helped Clemson win that game. I just didn't think he was ready mentally to be in that type of environment because Notre Dame's not an easy place to play at. That's real football. And he did great, especially going in 2 overtimes as, Trevor Lawrence's backup. He did great. He didn't do too bad. But I'm going to have to go with Clemson, because I like Clemson. And every time I root for Notre Dame and they actually get into the playoff, they always blow it for me. So, I mean, it's my bad luck. But I'm going to go with Clemson. I feel like Trevor Lawrence is definitely going to have a chip on his shoulder because I know he didn't like watching that game, especially going in double overtime. And I'm pretty sure he's probably talked to the linemen and he's probably trying to help them out as much as possible. And they'll probably find ways to get Travis going, especially him not running like he used to. And it may factor in him probably saving his body for the NFL. You never know. But, I'm going to go with Clemson.
So if Notre Dame wins or loses, are they out of the playoff?
No. I don't think it will be. I don't think so. I mean, that'd be their only loss. And
I think it depends on the score.
Loss. I mean,
Points.
Yeah, points, yeah. Up next, we're going to do, let's see, we got 3 games left, y'all. Up next, we've got what I think has been a very impressive story, and that's San Diego State. Number 24 in the country, Nick Starkel, former Texas A&M quarterback.
You say San Diego or San Jose?
And Arkansas.
San Jose State is what I thought I said. But Nick Starkel, former Texas A&M quarterback, transferred over to Arkansas with Chad Godawful Morris was the coach. But Nick Starkel has reinvented himself at San Jose State. They come in at 6-0, taking on John. You can watch this when it's on Fox. Taking on Boise State. Boise State is 5-1. Give me Boise State's actually a 7-point favorite. Wrong team's favorite, big time in this one.
Wow.
Give me San Jose State to win this game by 10 points today. What about you?
So, I'll say not so fast on you right now.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go with Boise State. I like their head coaching a little bit better.
Okay. Christian Guest, who you got next?
I'm going with San Jose has been a lot of upsets this year, and especially you got to think of teams like Coastal Carolina. They're not an easy team to beat either. They're undefeated too. So I mean, it's been a lot of underground teams, that you don't really just see up there in the top of the top with the big schools. But I mean, I'm going San Jose State because I mean, you never know nowadays. You never know.
Come on, Christian Johnson, join me. Come on, damn it!
Wait, who did you pick?
I got Boise.
Yeah, I mean, a part of me, I would like to see San Jose State win. I just don't. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to pick against Boise. I mean, they're just the cream of the crop in that conference.
The blue turf is awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
They're not playing there though. They're playing at San Jose State.
No, they're playing in Vegas.
Oh, okay. It's in Vegas. Okay.
I just like Boise in games that matter. I don't know if San Jose State's ever been in been ranked this high. When's the last time they've been 6-0? I mean,
when Tom Bone was athletic director.
Oh, that's been 5-6 years then, probably. I mean,
Really?
something like that.
I thought it'd been.
I'm just guessing. That's purely a just non-educated guess. Trust me.
I like Nick Starkel, and I think he's gonna ball out in this game. But I just don't think they're gonna win.
Okay.
I think Boise State's gonna win and cover.
Right. Up next, John, do you have CBS?
Yeah, I don't have.
Hey, John can watch the SEC championship game. Up next, we've got number 1.
Hey, I don't have this, so we're fine.
Okay, number 1, Alabama, 10-0, best damn team in the land. Taking on number 7, Florida Gators.
Bama rolls.
Don't get me started. This was part of my rant last night. Florida should not have dropped 1 slot. It is pure. Never mind. I'll stop before I start cussing. All right. Alabama's a 15.5-point favorite in this game. I think Alabama is the best team in the country. I think they have proven that time and time and time again this season. I believe they have beat every team by like an average of like freaking 30 points this year. And I don't know. It's in that range. Give me Alabama big. Mac Jones is going to go off. Devontae Smith's going to have another great night. Najee Harris is just a man among boys running the ball. I swear he's like Derrick Henry's little brother or something. Like they just remind
like that in high school.
Man, they just remind me so much of each other, just their running styles. Give me Alabama big, and that's nothing against Florida. I like Kyle Trask. I'm glad Pitts is back. Number 3 likes to throw shoes. I like Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen's a good coach. I don't think Dan Mullen's going to be all the way. He's going to be like right here on Todd Graham because whenever that man makes a mistake on defense, Mullen just climbs up his butt. And Mullen's going to be like screaming out of his mouth today. It's going to be bad. Bama's going to score at least 45 on them.
Didn't Mullen guarantee a win or something?
I don't know, man. If Mullen did,
That's hard to keep up these days.
He needs to stop talking if he guaranteed a win. Go ahead, Chris.
Bama 45, Florida 17.
45-17. I think it's going to be like 45-10.
Yeah. Which Christian you talk about, Guest or Johnson?
Guest.
Oh, I'll go. This just brings me flashbacks from when I was watching Mark Ingram and Alabama take on Florida back then with Tebow and stuff. So, I mean, it's hard to go against Bama at this rate. I mean, Devontae Smith's one of the best players in the country. I hate they're without Jalen Waddle. That's probably one of my favorite players on the team. But, I feel like this decides really who wins the Heisman. These two guys right here, Mac Jones and Kyle Trask. And I feel like for Florida to win, their receivers have to win the one-on-one battles. It's without a doubt. Bama got great DBs every year. It's about everybody doing their 111. But I mean, if Florida can't do it, Bama's gonna easily win that game. So I'm going Bama.
Yeah, I could see Florida actually coming out and maybe like scoring first and putting up some points, and Alabama, eventually gets it going. Florida will score today. They will.
Yes.
But I don't think their defense can barely even slow Alabama. They can't even slow Alabama down. And that's without Jalen Waddle. Man, that offense, man, if they had Waddle, man, it'd
be a different ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, it would be
they're already unstoppable. I mean, without him, that's the scary thing.
But you wouldn't have Devontae Smith catching 200 and some yards a game. It'd probably be spread out between him, Waddle, and the rest of them.
Right.
Devontae Smith has to carry a load for a little minute once Waddle.
Yeah. Oh, he's done more than carry it. I think
he did a lot.
He is a beast. I did not realize that guy was as talented as he is.
Yes.
How much is Bama
he was
favored?
good when Henry Ruggs was there.
Bama's favored by 15.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they'll cover.
Hell yeah, they're gonna cover. All right. Up next, we've got the AC championship. That would be the American Athletic Conference.
Game I can't watch.
John cannot watch this game. ABC tonight at 7:00. Number 23, Tulsa Golden Hurricanes traveling up to Nippert Stadium to take on the number 9 Cincinnati Bearcats. It's another pet peeve I have with the College Football Playoff Committee, but I'll leave it alone. Cincinnati is a 14-point favorite, 8-0 on the season. I don't want to give my pick yet. John, go ahead.
Cincinnati will, I think for some reason, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I got this gut feeling Tulsa's defense is going to come ready to play. But I think Cincinnati maybe 28-14, right at the 14 points.
Yeah, I think. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati's going to come to this game mad. They're just going to be looking to, they're not going to get in the playoff, but they're going to play like that's on the line today. I think they're just going to absolutely destroy Tulsa. I like what Tulsa's doing. I mean, they're a good football team. I just think Cincinnati's that much better. I think Cincinnati is a good team, and I think, maybe even better than number 9. That's left for debate there. But I would like to start seeing teams like Cincinnati, other teams like that to get a shot, to be in the playoff. It just, I know that their strength of the schedule is a big thing, but you can tell if a team's good or not. I mean,
yeah.
They don't have to be playing a stacked schedule every year, but give me Cincinnati to win, and I think they'll cover the 14.
I believe I'm going with Cincinnati too. I mean, I feel like they have a chip on their shoulder, especially with all the years. I mean, nobody really. You think about Cincinnati, you barely watch them. People say Cincinnati and think about the Bengals right now at this point.
Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, and of course, last time I watched Cincinnati was when I was watching Tavon Austin go off every weekend. So I mean, I feel like they have a chip on their shoulder, and I believe they definitely want to be in the playoff or just in the conversation. And I feel like when you're in that situation as a team, you feel disrespected. So of course you're gonna have a chip on your shoulder. So yeah, I feel like they'll cover.
Real quick, Cincinnati has not played since November the 21st.
It don't matter.
Which brings up my choice for this game. If you look at Cincinnati, I think up to this point, they have been disrespected by the College Football Playoff Committee and by the Rankings Committee, whoever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cincinnati is one of the best teams in the country. I know they're the best team in the American Athletic Conference. And I say that as a Memphis Tiger faithful fan.
Yeah.
But that being said, they have not played since November 21st. That is it's 2 days away from a solid month. That's a long time. That's a very long time. to be not playing at game speed. Now, I know they have practices 7-on-7, whatever, 11-on-11, but as you know, Christian, practice and game is two completely different things.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt.
Without a doubt. And at the same time, Tulsa has been getting ready for them. Now, obviously, they're getting ready for Tulsa. I understand that. But for 21 days, they've had to have stuff rammed up their nose, rammed in their mouth. They're testing. I just feel like for these last 21 days, there's been a lot of distraction. Not a lot of time to focus on getting ready for the conference championship game. I think Tulsa will win this game today. I think Tulsa is just a special team this year. They're not special as in, oh my God, Cinderella is going to win a national championship. But I think if you're Tulsa, this is your national championship right here. Cincinnati today is your national champ. It's a big game. I think Tulsa's going to win it. I think Phil Montgomery has done an amazing job with this program at Tulsa. Nothing against Luke Fickell. The guy's done an amazing job. I think he is a coach that we need to look out for jumping to a bigger team like somebody like that. I think Fickell deserves that. But all that being said, give me Tulsa to win the game by 17 today.
Wow,
Cincinnati.
that bad.
Yeah.
I give you $10 if that happens.
Yeah, I'm glad
Give
this.
you $100.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, what was that? That was 10 and 200. Okay, cool. Cool. All right.
17?
Yeah. If I'm
Okay,
wrong,
I have a question for Christian before we can wrap it up with him. Christian, can you talk a little bit about your college playing days at Itawamba a little bit, and then West Alabama, and then talk about the new league that you're going to be participating in for our fans?
Oh yes, sir. First and foremost, I started out my college career at Itawamba. It was kind of a weird feeling for me because I was a qualified athlete out of high school. I had 24 on the ACT. I had a
Mr. Football finalist.
I had a 3.8 GPA. I don't care about all that. I was caring about going to school, but I mean, I did have a couple of accolades. But my main focus was trying to get a scholarship for my college degree and going to play college football. But it was a weird experience because honestly, you don't want to be there because you're qualified. You don't have to be in junior college. The only reason I really went was just because I was trying to build myself a resume with bigger schools. I know I wasn't getting highly recruited out of high school because I didn't get my first offer to after my junior year. So I thought going into Itawamba, I was like, okay, I could start my first year. I could play special teams, which people they know me for my speed and my return skills. So I was more focused on trying to make things happen in special teams unit. And it was a humbling experience more than it was just trying to get out, because it taught me more how to face adversity a little bit harder than it was like in high school. And I'm kind of glad that I got it that early because it made me into the athlete that I was at West Alabama. So I loved everything about ICC. It was a great experience. I had some great teammates, especially from the area that I came from. We had Dan Ellington, who else? We had Terry Williams, Devin Hollins, all those guys I pretty much played with growing up, or I played with some point in high school. I didn't get my West Alabama offer till, I would say, I got my West Alabama offer, I think literally like right after, I think it was like right after the season in spring.
Yeah, that's what you told me, I think, right after your sophomore year.
Yeah, it was like it came so late because I was going to the Mississippi State Alabama game. I was going with a guy that was getting recruited, and I was like, Alabama, Mississippi State. I was like, I haven't seen Alabama play. I'm like, I know the atmosphere is good, and my
And you wore your LSU clothes. No, I'm kidding.
I did have my LSU boxers on. I can't lie, but I got that call from the coach, and he was like, "What are you doing this weekend?" He was like, "Can you come down?" And I was still at school at ICC, and I went down, and I just kind of got there, and there was some JUCO guys that I saw that I played against, and I was like, I saw Tyreek Hill, Malcolm Butler up on the wall because those guys played there, Seth Roberts, Deion Lacey, and I saw those guys, and I was like, well, maybe they Tyreek Hill got into a little trouble, before he got to West Alabama. Malcolm Butler did what he was supposed to do, and he got out. But I feel like they all had their own story in some way. So my deal was I only had maybe a couple offers. It was like West Alabama, Arkansas Monticello, and Mississippi College. And
Monticello. Go ahead. I live in Crosson. Sorry. I live in Crosson, Arkansas. It's like 45 minutes away. Sorry.
No, it was a no-brainer for me because I knew that if we got West Alabama's got probably the most, in the Division II league, have the most NFL players in the league at this point. So I knew I was going to be in front of NFL coaches. I knew I wasn't worried about school because I knew what I could do in the classroom, and I could hold myself to a high standard when it comes to grades. I feel like West Alabama changed my life, to be honest, because the things that I did there and the things that I learned as a man and an athlete, taught me, just basically how to appreciate things a little bit more. Because, especially now with college football being over with, I would probably give my left pinky toe just to go back and play another down at West Alabama because it was that much fun. Like it's not as much pressure as it is now trying to get a contract and trying to get signed by a team than it is just, here, we're giving you a scholarship. You come spend 4 years here. And, some of the guys that I played with are like my brothers at this point. I had some great games. I'm not going to lie to you. I've had some nervous games because, I remember seeing the Giants and the Browns. We were playing West Georgia. They had a guy, Jackson, a running back. He broke all the little records at West Georgia, and I think he broke some in the league. It was he was number 2, I was number 2. So it was like the Browns, the Giants, and I think a couple other teams that were there. We were playing at West Georgia, and that stadium looks like a D1 FCS school. Like it's pretty big.
It was like 15,000 to 20,000.
Yeah, it's a nice school, and I loved everything about it. The only thing I hated, it was started raining, and there's scouts out there, and the next thing I know, I'm catching a punt, and as soon as the punt comes down, I look to my right, and they're standing literally right here by my face. So it was a weird experience, but I think it was kind of fun because I think it gave me a little something extra to play for because I know who I am as an athlete when it comes to a team sport. I'll put my teammates before everything. I'm not a selfish person, but in the back of my mind, you got to think about your future as a person too. So I was having a fun time every time they were, making a call for me to block, making a call for me to, catch a screen or catch a pass. I was doing everything I could because I know it was a rivalry game at that. So I knew everything that was at stake. I wasn't trying to mess up. I wasn't trying to do anything that was going to jeopardize the team. So, I think I ended up having maybe over 100 and some yards all purpose maybe or receiving. But it was a good little shootout. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think we lost by 2. We tried to recover onside kick and they ended up getting it back due to a flag or whatever. But that's one game I do remember. And then the next week I ended up going for 122 yards against Delta State. So I had a milestone a couple weeks.
Yeah. And then that new league you're talking about, like, who's it by again?
It's ran by Marshawn Lynch, Richard Sherman, the rapper Quavo, the YouTuber Destroying, Mike Tyson, Austin Eckler, I think, is one of them, and I think it's 2 more people. It's a bunch of big names in it. I think it's a good idea that they're doing that because with COVID going on, which we're going to be in a sports bubble, we got to get COVID tested. I got to go down January 11th to get COVID tested, which is a week before training camp. I think this is a good thing and a good expansion league because they said NFL guys will have NFL coaches and stuff will be there, that gives NFL chances and the CFL and XFL and whatever else league wants to look, gives them a chance to look and see more talent rather than just actually looking at the D1 level and overlooking the small school guys, because I believe in our class this past year in the draft, I believe a lot of us could, if COVID hadn't happened, I believe a lot of us would have went in the draft or definitely been undrafted, because me personally, I'm a confident person. You know, I'm not gonna boast and, you know, be a cocky person, but, you know, I ran a 4.38 hand time with Mark Litherbridge. He was ex-scout with the Packers. He coached with the Battlehawks, St. Louis Battlehawks. I ran the 40 and he was like, this is a legit 4.38. And I was struggling to run a 4.38 for like 2 months straight. I was dealing with hamstring problems. And even with a hamstring problem, I ran a 4.45 hand time. So, and I was already on my high horse because I had my pro day at Bama, which I'm probably going to be there with Jerry Jeudy. I'm probably thinking Jalen Walder's probably about to come out. And, you know, Henry Ruggs was going too. So, and Henry Ruggs, of course, had the fastest 40. I was not trying to compete with him, but Jeudy ran like a 4.4. If I'm not mistaken, he ran like a 4.45, 4.46 laser at the combine in Indy, in which I was kind of happy about it, because it was like, this is my chance to prove who I am as a person, an athlete. Just don't look at my size, because I recently ran a 4.41 laser in at my bowl game. It was in like early January, and I probably wasn't even prepared to even run a 40. Like, I just literally lined up and just took off. But
Wow.
I think now I'm more confident with 40s and just running, due to the fact that I train with a Olympic track guy that raced against Usain Bolt. His name's Trell Kimmons. You know, if you don't know who he is, I suggest you look him up on YouTube. The guy can fly, and he took me through some pain that I've never experienced, because I wasn't training for football. I was training to be a track athlete. I lost 20 pounds in like maybe a month or two. I'm back to high school weight at this point.
Wow.
I'm not
You're back at 160 now?
Nah, I'm at 175, 178, but I didn't expect myself to get this small. But without him, I think some of the things that happened to me up to this point wouldn't be possible, just because I look more fluent as a receiver. I feel more confident as a receiver, because John, you know, I was a running back in high school. I've been a running back my whole life.
Well, and then you were a receiver in college. I'm like, what's going on?
That was a quick transition. Like, I've been a running back my whole life since I started football as a running back. And, you know, they throw me out at receiver as soon as I get in junior college, I didn't complain. I didn't, you know, complain about playing running back, getting snaps. I sucked it up. I soaked up everything I could as an athlete to be a best receiver for any program that I step on the field for. But I think it would make me, you know, appreciate the game a little bit more, because I always hear stories about guys, you know, having to change positions and, you know, what they do with it. You know, it's a weird experience, but I feel like that was a way I took it for what it was, and was just like, well, it's another way you can just add something in your arsenal as an athlete. I mean, I can run the football. I can now catch the football, whether it's out of the backfield or lining me up in the slot. I can return
or kick return or punt. Yeah.
Yeah, I can return and I can throw. So I mean, there was a game in high school where throughout the whole season, I either had a pick six, I threw a touchdown, I ran for a touchdown, and
played quarterback.
Something else. Yeah, so I mean, I can help put points on the board either way, whatever it is. Even if it's on defense, I don't care if I had to play special teams, go make a tackle. I mean, it's football. If you love the game, you're not scared to do anything people ask you to do.
I mean, I've always told you this, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. And, you know, I've always told you since I've known you since your junior year of high school, like the last 7 years or so. I've told you that, you know, a lot of college coaches really don't give enough people like you and other people like your size in general enough credit, because y'all should get more offers in the long run, because y'all are just like another normal player out there, you know, that deserves a lot of credit as
we're
well.
at a disadvantage way more than other athletes that are 6'1", you know, and for a guy that's, you know, think about it, for a guy that's my height, I'm 5'6".
I'm bringing up Lincoln Perez as an example as well, because he's the same size as you are, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you, like I said, it was just like I'm 5'6" and 3/8, or whatever the NFL wants to call me, and then you going against a guy that's 6'2", and you're outworking him, making the same plays as him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like a lot of height and politics should be ruled out of the game, because there's kids my height, or there's men my height that, you know, love the game like I do, and they actually study the game just as much as a guy that's 6'2" and will do anything. I've worked out with a lot of so-called good guys or whatever, but you know,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to outwork me at the end of the day.
Well, Christian Salisbury, I know you got another interview to do with your pro league, and then, you know, so I appreciate your time as always, and keep us posted on how everything goes in the ATL.
I will. I appreciate y'all for inviting me.
Not a problem, man. Thank you very much for being on the show, Christian. It's been a great time having you.
All right, yes, sir. I love to be on again.
Will do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Christian
Guys,
Thompson.
we are still live on Facebook. Right now, bringing in a very, very special guest. He is rocking the Memphis beanie. Is that a Memphis beanie I see?
That is.
Brand new Memphis Tiger. Very, 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 very happy and special to get him on today. That is one Mr. Jeremiah Oates Ball. Did I say the last name correctly?
You did. Oats ball, just like oatmeal, but then with a ball at the end.
Boy, you've probably said that numerous times in your life, I'm sure.
Yep.
Thank you very much for being on the show. It is an honor. John and I are huge Memphis Tiger fans. So you came from Austin Peay. Tell us a little bit about your playing time at Austin Peay and playing for Will Healy up there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I chose Austin Peay out of high school. Obviously, they were on a pretty bad losing streak, and you know, our class kind of decided that we wanted to do something different and, you know, help change the program around. So we were able to get the top recruiting class in all of the FCS division, or Division I single A, whatever you want to say it as. And so, yeah, I went there, and I had a great time there. Coach Healy, I was there. He was there for my first 2 years, and I was able to play as a freshman and a sophomore under him, and had really a great season my freshman year, going 8-4 and kind of changing the whole dynamics of the program. Had a pretty decent sophomore year, and then obviously he took the Charlotte job, and now he's in the Conference USA coaching them. And so my junior year, I got hurt and had a season-ending injury in the second game, but our team went on and to win the OVC championship and make a great playoff run. And then obviously COVID year kind of happened, so that was kind of a very quick relapse of how my time at Austin Peay went, and, you know, made some lifelong friends, had some really good playing experiences. And so.
Go ahead, John.
And also, I was going to say also, you know, I'll get to your brother in a second, but, you know, your freshman year, you threw 80 attempts for 141 out of that, and basically threw 1,148 yards, 7 touchdown passes, and you were also running the football pretty well, over 400 yards as well. And then you had a career day at UCF, threw over 200 yards at UCF. And as Memphis fans, you know, in the future, we definitely look forward to seeing those numbers at UCF as well. And then your sophomore year, you had a 1,631 yards passing. And you set a lot of Austin Peay records as well your first 2 years at Austin Peay. But talk about, you know, I want to bring up your high school days just for a second as well, because you were a two-sport athlete playing basketball and football back in high school at Brentwood Academy, who you were coached under Hubie Smith on the basketball court. And y'all won, 4 state basketball championships and 4 state football championships, right? At Brentwood Academy?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't realize that Hubie was at Brentwood now.
No, he was, but he retired.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. I did not know that. Very, very, very cool. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Yeah, so I mean, I was able to win 3 basketball and 2 football, but they did continue on. My brother actually here won 2 state championships as well. So he kind of continued that after we were out. I got the 2 in football, and then they also had 2 when I left, but I had 3 in basketball. And then they continued to have, I think they had 1 right after I left as well. So yeah, it was I had an unbelievable high school experience athletically at Brentwood Academy, playing for Hubie. Obviously, he's a big Memphis name, and I was able to learn a lot under him. And so I had a lot of time, and I think a lot of those basketball kind of agility skills kind of helped translate my game on the football field. So high school was really fun. And my brother just finished his senior season in football, and our kind of Oatsfall name is now retired from the Brentwood Academy history books. But yeah, we both had a really good and fun time at Brentwood Academy.
Jeremiah, also real quick, you had 15 school records at Brentwood Academy. You had most career rushing yards by a single quarterback in that career as well. You had 2,645 rushing yards, 6,000 yards passing as well, 56 touchdown passes, and most career touchdowns were at 91. But I also want to bring up, a lot of fans don't know this as well, but he also played basketball with an NBA star in Darius Garland. So what can you tell me about that? How did it feel to play with an NBA star? I don't know if you still talk to him or not, but talk about your friendship that you still have with him today.
Yeah, I mean, me and Darius talk at least every month. I mean, we have a kind of group chat that me and a bunch of buddies from high school, about 5 buddies from high school, still communicate to through this day. But yeah, it was fun, man. Obviously, playing with somebody like that that's in the NBA. I mean, the talent and the IQ level is just so high. And, we've been playing against each other for a long time. And then when we got to high school, we were able to team up together, and we did some pretty special things. And he's a great player. And obviously being the number 5 overall draft pick kind of speaks for itself. But we were able to play 4 years together. I mean, he got to play at the end of his 8th grade year. He kind of came up to varsity and played with us. But we were able to spend 4 years together, win 3 state championships. And, we made it pretty hard on coaches, the opposing coaches, to try to game plan for
our. Jeremiah.
Elijah,
go ahead.
Well,
I was just going to ask real quick, just because out of curiosity. Of course, you were at Austin Peay. I guess you entered the transfer portal and then ended up coming to Memphis. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Give us, as fans, just a little insight into the transfer. I mean, it's the portal. That's what everybody hears is the transfer portal. But talk a little bit about the portal itself, and then talk a little bit more about just what Ryan Silverfield is really selling at the University of Memphis.
Well, the transfer portal is kind of crazy in the sense that it's like high school recruiting. That I was in the transfer portal. It was kind of, coaches coming, kind of out the woodworks again and trying to follow you and get in contact with you, just saying, hey, like, what's your plan? Like, we would love to talk a little bit about your future here. And it's cool because now that I've been in college for 3.5, 4 years, I kind of know the ins and outs, and I kind of know the verbiage of, what's true, what's kind of bluff, because, I've been there. So there's nothing, it's hard to really sell, again, to a guy that's been in it for 3 years. And so I was able to, and I think the college coaches knew that too. Like, this guy, I mean, you're not gonna be able to sell, the red carpet like we do to all the high school students. We're gonna kind of keep telling how it is. Like, this is what we have. This is kind of what we see you as. And so I was able to, talk with some really, great coaches. But, it all goes back. Coach Silverfield was one of the first guys to text me that night I got in the transfer portal, just saying, hey, I just want to let you know you got a spot on this team. We really love, to use you. And in my head, I was thinking about, his loyalty to me throughout high school. He was the O-line coach, and he really wanted me to come play at Memphis. But, Coach Norvell, wanted a different style of quarterback. But, throughout the years, me and Coach Silverfield maybe talked once a year, just, hey, congrats on, all your success, vice versa type deal. And so his kind of role in that played a huge decision, and I trust what he, is doing. And it speaks for itself that he believed in me when he wasn't the head coach. And then when he got the head coaching job, he still was like, hey, this is how we want to use you. And for what I want to do and, what I think my best shot is at playing at the next level, he's going to use me in that way. And I'm so fired up to go and do and play all the roles that he wants me to play. And it's going to be so fun. And, I really believe in what Memphis is doing as a football program. I'm talking about the up, I read an article about people saying, how this has been just an okay year, but then you look at what he's done, like in his first year compared to Coach Norvell's first year.
Yeah.
The numbers speak for itself. And so they're only going to get better. Their recruiting class obviously is, I think, a top 50 recruiting class in the country right now. So they're competing recruiting wise, they're competing facility wise. Obviously we're going to the Cotton Bowl last year. So I'm fired up, and that was Coach Silverfield, and the way he's going to use me is 100% the reason that I chose, Memphis.
I also have told people in the past, regarding Coach Silverfield, he's got a veteran staff around him, like with Coach Jones and Mac McIntyre, Pete Lumbo, the special team coach that we got from Rice a couple years ago. The good thing is the veteran staff is always, around that good program at Memphis as well.
Yeah.
And you need a guy that's been around the Memphis market like Coach Jones to go out and recruit, like the relationship with these high school coaches as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now, Elijah, your brother, committed to the Navy midshipman. First of all, Elijah, thank you for going into the service, for our country, first of all, when you go into the Navy. Can you just talk about the Navy commitment that you had with the coaching staff over there?
Yeah. I think it started out a long time ago, actually, my 8th grade year. That was actually the first time that I came in contact with one of the coaches. It has always been, a lifelong dream and goal of mine to, serve this country. And when I found out that you could do both and play football at the Naval Academy, that was kind of a no-brainer for me. So I first emailed my recruiting coach, who was going to be my recruiting coach, Coach Ingram, up at Navy when I was in 8th grade. And he couldn't respond to me then, but he saw the message. And when I got to my junior year, that's when he finally, messaged me back. And that's when we kind of started this recruiting process. So, it's been uphill from there. Ever since my junior year, I've been coming in contact with a lot more of the coaches. And then up to now, that's kind of, sealed the deal for me.
Can you talk about how that, forgive me on your future head coach's last name, but we can never get it right. But just talk about the Coach Ken. Coach Ken that has been around that Navy program for so many years. Just talk about the relationship that you have with him so far.
I've gotten to talk with him a couple times, not much, but I did go up to the Navy Air Force game last year. And he loves the program.
Oh, but that was
He's a
fun.
Navy guy all the way. Yes. I've been talking with, coaches. They love him. He's all for it. He's obviously been offered the Arizona job twice and the one of the Washington jobs. But I think, even though that, I think he's going to be a Navy guy until he retires. He loves this program. He loves, what the Naval Academy stands for and what the Navy football players bring. So I think he's a great guy.
Talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about the draw to Navy specifically versus just say any other university. Because as we know, going to a armed forces academy just holds a little bit more just use the term rank. It holds more rank.
Gotcha. I think what really drew me to Navy instead of other schools was I wanted that military feel. I think, since I've wanted to go into the armed forces my whole life, being able to go to one of the academies and, come out as a second lieutenant and, have that rank, I think that kind of, it shows it for itself, being able to, go into the service at the same time, but also being able to get a great education as well. One of the top educations in the country. I mean, it's just everything that you could want if you want to go into the military. So that's why I chose one of the academies.
Well, and another thing with Navy, I mean, really, when you look at them, I mean, they play top-notch programs. I mean, you'll be coming and playing, you know, your brother. I mean, you know, Memphis. Air Force is always a fun game, but I mean, I don't think it gets much better than Army Navy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you go back and look at that game last week, that was a good game. I know Navy did not, you know, come out ahead,
Mm-hmm.
but it's of my opinion that they should flip-flop back and forth home, in that series just to be able, I think it'd be great to showcase just the beauties of those two campuses. And maybe, you know, every third year you go play back at Philadelphia. What's your opinion on that as far as being able to move back and forth between the home stadiums instead of playing it on a neutral site?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's a great idea. I think having it at Army this year was, I mean, it was insane. College game day was there. I mean, just the historical, you know, foundation and historical things that are at, you know, the academies. I think, you know, it brings to light so many things that people didn't know about the academies. So, I mean, I think that's a great idea to do that, flip-flop them each year.
Well, and then, you know, I mean, of course, with fans not being there, I mean, could you imagine game day with fans, Army, Navy? I mean, just how they file into the stadium. And I mean, that would have been just absolutely awesome to see. Thank you very much for honoring our country. Thank you very much for choosing a armed forces service. I think that's very honorable. And we'll definitely be watching your career moving forward. Christian, do you have anything for him?
Yeah, I know you're kind of new to the rivalry, but can you speak a little bit on the rivalry itself? And, you know, I know it's probably a lot different than, you know, your typical other rivalries in college football.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think I can speak a little bit on it just from, you know, being able to talk with coaches and players about it. I don't think I can speak a full experience into it. But I mean, I think the Army-Navy rivalry is unlike any other. You know, they play it once a year. It's kind of the game of the year when it happens. For those 3 hours or whatnot, they are complete rivals and they hate each other. But then after, they're going to go, you know, fight for each other's lives and serve alongside each other and who knows where around the world. So I mean, it's a crazy rivalry, and I think it's going to be a blast when I be able to get there.
Yeah. Jeremiah, has Ryan Severfield actually told you like what kind of position they might be using you at?
Mm-hmm. So we talked probably a couple weeks ago, and he basically just asked me, hey, he said, just be ready to run. He said, we're going to have a Wildcat quarterback package for you. You're going to play a little slot receiver. You'll be playing a little running back. You're going to be on all special teams. And so kind of everywhere. I mean, a lot of people since I've committed has basically said they're going to use you like the Saints use Taysom Hill, like kind of everywhere. And that's why
I asked you that. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's one of the big reasons I chose that as well. Because Coach Silverfield saw me in high school. He watched me play football, basketball. He kind of knows what I can do skill set wise. I love to play football regardless of a position. So, you know, it'll help being a quarterback. You know, I played Division I quarterback for 3 years. So that lens will be able to help me for when I'm, you know, coming out of the backfield. I know exactly what the quarterback's wanting. And then when I get back there as a Wildcat quarterback, you know, take some hits off the regular quarterback, you know, in the run game, third and short, you know, goal line packages, you know, you don't want to get your starting quarterback just drilled, you know, big hits that he doesn't need to take. You know, that's kind of where I think I'll come in and, you know, take some pressure off him and just kind of play everywhere. And I'm fired up about that opportunity to be able to literally go everywhere around the field and try to give defensive coordinators problems.
You know, one thing.
John, and then Elijah, you're going to be playing tight end?
Go ahead, John.
Sorry. Elijah, you're going to be playing tight end for Navy.
I will actually be playing linebacker.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
So, brother versus, can't wait for that matchup, right, Wes?
Yes, sir.
Your parents are going to be wearing House Divided's clothes also.
That's what I was going to say. Half Memphis, half Navy jersey might look kind of cool. Jeremiah, let me ask you this. John and I were talking a few weeks back. Obviously, we know what success Mike Norvell brought to the university, and where he took us. John and I were talking a few weeks back about Ryan Silverfield, and how we think that Ryan Silverfield, we're glad he's here because he can continue the success, but at the same time, he has to do it in his own way. You mentioned earlier, Norvell, typically you wasn't that his prototypical style of quarterback where you fit in a little more with Norvell. Having Kevin Johns as that offensive coordinator and just his style of offense, can you talk a little bit about the style of offense that Memphis runs and just how you can fit into that? I know we talked about you being kind of a Taysom Hill style, but do you bring other variables to that offense?
I mean, I think I will. I mean, I don't want to, downgrade what Memphis has. I mean, obviously, with what Calvin's doing is unreal. You got Javon and Taj, which are two young guys that have a lot to learn. And me and Coach, I talked with Coach Johns on the phone maybe a week ago, and just kind of he introduced himself to me, just say, hey, I'm fired up to have you on here. I can't wait to, use you in different ways. But I think the cool thing that I'm excited that I will bring to the table, especially in that receiver room, is a little bit of a experience and a mature mentality, and coming from the quarterback position, helping those guys out, whether it's running backs, tight ends, receivers, kind of understand what quarterbacks are looking for, because sometimes, plays don't always go exactly how, they're designed to go. And so being able to find the soft spots, being able to kind of know, identify coverages, in that room will be something that I'm excited to hopefully bring, some of that knowledge that I've gained over these 3 years from the quarterback lens to that receiver room. And I know Coach Johns has mentioned that they kind of need some of, mature leadership, within their offense with some of the guys, departing after this year. So they're expecting, me to come in and try to contribute right away, and whatever that means, is what it means. And I'm excited for whatever my role is going to be. But I think, more than football, just being able to kind of mentor those younger guys that have been there for a year or two. This will be my fifth year, coming up, just kind of giving them some wisdom and knowledge that can help their game, translate and, take that next step.
All right, here's a question for both of y'all real quick.
Oh, go
Sorry,
ahead.
Wes. How did it feel to go against the Herb Street boys?
Well, I was a senior when they were freshmen. That's a him question. He played against all three of them.
Oh wow, that's right.
I mean, yeah, I mean it's pretty interesting experience just, with the relationship. Their dad went to, I think, 2 of the 3 games that we played him at. So just kind of, it was interesting to be able to see him up in the stands, and then, the next day you see him on college game day. So, I mean, it was a fun experience, especially since their sons, were a rival school. So,
the reason I'm bringing that up is because, next year Brentwood Academy is going to be joining the SEC Conference of High School Football. Brentwood is going to be playing the Briarcrest and the Christian Brothers now, and everything going 3 hours traveling, with that new district they're playing. Mm-hmm. What can y'all tell me, or what can y'all tell us about your favorite high school memory, like your favorite football games in general back in high school?
No doubt my favorite high school memory was the 2015 state championship game. We played our rival NBA and went into double overtime. We went for 2 to win the game and on double overtime. We broke like every state championship record offensively between the 2 teams. I mean, there was 1 punt the whole game. We had beat them earlier the year pretty handily. I mean, Ty Chandler, who's playing right now for Tennessee, their starting running back. He was I think he had like 300 yards all purpose. I mean, it was one of those back and forth games that took about 3.5 hours, 4 hours. But like I said, it was a 56-55. I mean, we kind of had a game winning drive to tie it, went for 2 to tie it. And then, it kind of from there went to overtime, and we both kicked a field goal. They scored on the first play, second overtime. And then we scored on a 3rd and goal from, however far out, and then went for 2 because we kind of had the idea we're not stopping Ty Chandler again in 3rd overtime, so we might as well go for 2 for the win. So that was hands down my favorite high school memory was that state championship game.
Yeah, you had 495 yards in that game.
Yeah, it was I mean, we had some hosses at receiver. We had some dudes up front. I mean, those guys helped make me look pretty good.
What about you, Elijah?
I think my favorite high school memory would probably be this senior season, just in general. You know, my junior year, we went 6-4 and didn't make the playoffs in the first time in the, you know, history of the school. So that was kind of a bummer. We lost to, you know, 3 league teams and another out of league team. And, you know, coming back this year, senior season, you know, we beat every team that beat us last year. So that was kind of a big bright side. Even though we didn't make the playoffs, you know, we had a crazy senior season. We didn't make the state championship. You know, it was a crazy senior season. So that would be my highlight this senior year.
I mean, just talking, you know, just playing this year in general with the COVID, you know, I thought everything did pretty well with high school football this year, to be honest with you.
Oh, most definitely. I honestly didn't think we were going to be able to play more than one game at one point. So being able to, you know, get more than 10 games in was, you know, very nice.
All right. So Elijah, fast forward to next season.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine Memphis. Just imagine Navy. Imagine you playing linebacker. Imagine that young man standing right next to you right now playing quarterback. You got a shot to lower the hammer. The question everybody has is, do you do it?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you know.
Oh yeah, that's what I was wanting. That's what I was wanting. All right, so
Well, look,
go ahead.
I said we've missed each other by 1 year every year. So when I was in 8th grade, he was a 4th grader. When I was a senior, he was an 8th grader. So we never got that chance to play together in the same, you know, high school level, middle school level. And we didn't really think it would happen in college. But the crazy thing is, like last year, when Silverfield got the job, we were in Florida together. You know, we were watching the Cotton Bowl, and I had 2 years left of eligibility at that time. And the thought of grad transferring was in my head. And I remember us talking like, okay, like Silverfield's my guy. Like we talk like, what's the possibility of me going to Navy and me going to Memphis and you going to Navy and us squaring off once and for all and finally settling all these arguments we've been having. And to like, for that to become a reality here soon, you know, I have 2 years left and he obviously has all his years left. It's bound to happen at least once where us two square off. And, you know, for 18 years, you know, we've been, you know, having fun arguments about whose team would have beat who would have, you know, could you have tackled me in open field? You know, the arguments. I mean, no matter what, it'll all be settled. You know, it could be settled in one play. So that'll be
all those years that you picked on him, man. They're going to come back to you. I promise you they will.
Yeah, they're coming back.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
we're excited.
That honestly, guys, this is an awesome story. Not just on a local level, but I believe on a national level. To have two brothers get a chance to go play at schools that they've both, honestly, I can pretty well tell you just by interviewing you guys, both of you guys are where you guys, I think, want to be. I think Navy, obviously, Elijah's where you want to be. And I think the same way with Jeremiah and Memphis. I think in a crazy year like 2020, this is a great lesson for all of us to say, hey, we just sit back and kind of trust the process. You know, things can always turn out for the better.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Christian, you got anything for him?
I'm good. I've enjoyed listening to them. You guys, interesting, definitely an interesting story with two brothers, and eventually probably even playing each other. That makes me jealous. You know, I had a younger brother, and we were always on the same team, so never got to really go at it. And he was also a couple years younger. So, but yeah, that's awesome. And I wish y'all the best in y'all's new careers at different teams.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah, I want to bring up your Austin P Day for one more second, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Can you talk about Coach Bowman, what he's done for Austin P as well? Because
Yeah.
me personally, I think, Coach Bowman is definitely going to be a college coach one day in the college ranks.
Yeah, Coach Bo. I mean, me and Coach Bo had built a really good relationship the past year and a half. Him coming from UT Martin, who had played against Austin P for 2 years, so he kind of got to game plan against me for 2 years, and then he got to join our staff. And I mean, his knowledge of the game, obviously being played at the professional level, coming back coaching. I think he coached Memphis High School for a little bit. Then
Cordova Jones, yeah.
Now he's in the college level. And I mean, his ability to, coach and motivate kids, I think speaks for itself. I mean, you see his connections collegiate wise, you see, how all of his players and former players interact with him on social media. I mean, he's a top-notch coach. I think, like you said, he'll be at a big-time school one day. He does everything right. So, I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, it was fun competing against him in practice and in the summers. He always had those guys, coached up really well. So he knows what he knows, what to do. He does it well. He coaches really well, and you can tell he loves what he does. So, I love Coach Bowman, and now he's back at UT Martin. So I think his career is just getting started.
Never know. You could probably see him again when Memphis plays UT Martin in the near future, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
guys, that was fun.
Yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to say, John. I completely agree, man. This has been a great time getting ready to chit chat with both of you guys. Getting ready to, pick your brains a little bit. But guys, it's Championship Saturday. We want to give you guys a chance to watch a little football today as well. But thank you very much, guys, for being on the show. It's been an honor and a pleasure to get to talk with you guys, and we will definitely be following your careers moving forward. And hey, later on down the road, guys, we'd love to have you guys back on the show if time is available.
Oh yeah, we'd love
Yes,
to, man.
sir. We'd love to do
Especially after I shake dude out of his boots. I'd love to come back on here and talk about it.
Well, we are recording this, and this is live, so we got you. But guys, thank you very much for being on the show. Once again, guys, we have a YouTube channel. It's College Pick'em with Wes and John. For everyone, this is also live on YouTube as well. So we want to thank everybody on YouTube for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell to get all your live updates from College Pick'em with Wes and John. For everyone on Facebook today, it's been a great day of 2 great interviews. We had a great show this morning with some college picks, and then we've had an awesome interview this afternoon with Jeremiah and Elijah Oatsball. Thank you very, very much for watching, guys.